Graffiti. Noun. A rude decoration inscribed on rocks or walls. Princeton University. Graffiti. Noun. Plural of Italian graffito. Scratched. Inscriptions, figure drawings, etc. found on the walls of ancient ruins, as in the catacombs or
When you first start out in graffiti, you don't really think too much about where it's coming from or, where it originated from. Talking about the past that goes way back to like the cave dweller days,
Visual art or hieroglyphics.
How do you know that it was a primitive race?
Cavemen were out there documenting their existence.
Take a glance into the past, you're gonna see it started way back.
Wherever there's man, there's gonna be somebody writing on the wall.
Art's been in existence since living things were
It's
alive.
always about letting people know, this is where I'm at, here's what I've done.
Reset. Primates. Aerosol warfare. And Law's crew. Present.
When you hear the word graffiti, you may think gangs, desecrated property, or vandals.
Caught tagging, but it's not against the law.
Graffiti on the south side.
Clogged Caps.
Fuck creep in the yard, storm the gates 100 deep. Who knew these cans of True Blue was heat and thunder speech? Old Chicago, role models was avocados and olives. Throw ups without hangovers, names older than God's is. Where bombing's not a hobby, it's a habit. We're addicts, rappers bragging about tags and don't know dick about this graph shit. Attack the Metro track with fat caps for fading gray greens. Can't wait to see Page versus Daily. It's on like lucky hoodies. What could he teach me while you were sleeping? I'm teaching his kids through graffiti. I have to argue, been rhyming, this shit ain't hard to do. But check the quell advertisements on Jarvis and Harbor Blue. Outlined in summer squash, dumb rock. My dark attire, mind's wrecked from running from cops. Hopping barbed wire while you dream of being me between clean sheets. Play the role, personality splitting like mean streaks.
We're on scene at the corner of Brazos and Saltillo, where the Clogged Caps spray can event is going on all day long. It is an event that focuses on the graffiti aspect of hip-hop culture and putting a positive light on graffiti and spray can art all over the buildings here in this area.
Really started with the Laws crew. They're the originators of it.
Clogged Caps, it was something that was started by one of our crew members.
We went to the B-Boy Summit in LA. We drove out to St. Louis to go to Paint Louis. We're driving out all these other places and stuff. It was like, why not throw an event here and have those people from other areas come down to San Antonio?
We caught this one spot. Fenced in was a lot, which had walls all the way around. When we asked for that wall, the guy said, do whatever you want. So me and Suffering Duo, the first Clogged Caps, man, cost about maybe 20 bucks.
That $20 was spent on dirt to cover up the old yard on Theo and Reese.
Threw out some homemade flyers, passed them out, next thing you know, boom, everybody came down to paint. It was mostly local cats, local acts. We didn't even have a DJ.
I brought the boombox cypher first at Clogged Caps. We were just dropping beats.
It was just acapella beatboxing MC battles. We had a homemade stage.
I moved to San Antonio, Texas in 2000, and I met a couple of local DJs, and they were like, hey, a couple blocks over, there's this graffiti thing going on here, and it was super dope. When I got there, there was just all these people painting.
This here's a class you'll never pass, so you can stuff that thesis. I'll be burning up the track like crates with supper pieces. So get up and get over. Get out while you can. A aerosol in my hand, bringing the beauty to the band. Straight killing with the spray like DDT. We had to drop in exclusive for CC3 and spit fire into end, top to bottom. You're looking for a wild style, you know I got it.
I was in the first year show as an artist and had yet to establish what became the rest of Law's crew.
The Laws crew, Life After Wild style. These artists were totally down and it just became a community thing.
It was cool for the community to embrace that. And San Antonio had been lacking that for a long time.
We wanted to be recognized by our city and let them know what kind of things we're doing. Come down to the show. People from all over the world are going to be here to show you what's going on.
It's basically a hip-hop expo centered around graffiti.
Taking something that they had been doing on the streets illegally and getting it organized and legalized.
You know, the first year was just, you know, yeah.
We were just dropping beats, and cats from like Minnesota, Puerto Rico, New York, New Mexico, Florida were down there just all rhyming. So that was the first of Clogged Caps.
With the first Clogged Caps, anybody that showed up and showed support and was a body in the crowd was doing more than enough. It was in the hot sun, the wind was blowing dust all over people, it was in this big old gravel field. It wasn't anything pretty.
It was hot as hell, but I mean, it was beautiful. You could just feel the love in the air.
The love for fiend that happened in San Antonio led people out there, showing that they were willing to come out and support something like this. And if you did it again next year, we'll be there again.
The second year was more organized. You had a lot more people coming in and helping out.
The neighborhood kids came out and their families came out, and I was just taken back that people really stepped up and were appreciating what was going on. Clogged Caps has always been free to the public. There's no charge to get into the art portion of the event. And we have the music event as kind of like a fundraiser so that we can afford to do the free paint and art show for the locals and all the kids and everybody to come check out.
And the fact that companies are starting to take notice and want to participate for free for the public to come out and enjoy themselves, thank you very much.
San Antonio is a big art city, and so it's just going to continue to get better with years come, and the more support that we get from here and abroad.
Mark my words that the rest of the world, they're going to hear about what we're doing.
We're inviting everybody and their mama to come out and do what they got to do. You know, if you have a means to get to this spot, we got a wall, and we're going to give you some buff paint, and you're going to do what you want, and you're going to get recognition.
Clogged Caps 3 was just huge. Having national acts come down and perform.
Artists from around the world, bring it.
G-R-A-F-I, hasta la I. Escuadrones de escritores a pintar hasta morir. R-A-F-I, hasta la I. Apurando los colores porque el sol ya va a salir. R-A-F-I, hasta la I. Las paredes que eran mudas ahora tienen que decir. R-A-F-I, hasta la I. R-A-F-I.
People take this city for granted. They don't really understand what's going on the scene yet. We're evolving. And we're creating. This is art, this is life, this is the real deal. This is, you know, the streets. This is where it originates from.
I can't fucking hear y'all! Come on! To the mic, a tool I need to breeze over beats, projects the voice and force that blows down trees. To me, one of the only things I need to breathe. Besides my lungs, my wife, and some warm degrees. The love I've been having in rapping since 85. That's damn near 15 to change the ride. From nothing to a somebody that freaks the gift. I preach the lift, speak till I reach the kids. The message is so clear, sometimes I can't see the separation of how ill things can be. It's real, many times you get caught and lost. Your full capabilities get tossed across the street. I know the concrete cold and hard. You old and scarred, heart holds no regards. There's no more credit left on the cards. There's no more cheddar left, no cigar. All you need is a spark so the mind can burn. Dues are paid, but here's where the time is earned. I went to the best school, I learned to crush grooves. Back then it was hustling you to make moves. I was never a youth, man, child of 10. The code was to make them think you always win. No loss, whether it's dodgeball, school, or pen. Cause if that's what you got, then the rule is win. Come on. Voice of force that stirs up seas to me. One of the only things I need to be, what I was always destined to be. MC so long, I used to walk home singing a song, leading me on about life, treating me wrong. Was 5 before I realized Pops was gone, but my Hollybrook block was strong. Word bone, time passed, sand ran slow through the glass. Seems the soul got attracted to the pen and the pad. Every time I'm distracted, I just scribble and dab, dribble some lines and spit them. Kids feeling it bad. Freedom of speech, teachers used to keep me in seats, so the desktop would be where I'd be drumming my beats. A simple 1, 2, 1, 2, dropping it sweet. That's when I knew in my heart that hip hop was me. Was me. Was me.
We've been coming to this thing pretty much every year. It's a
pretty good collection of writers. A lot of good people from a lot of different places. Different styles. A lot of styles. We met people from Singapore, LA, San Francisco. These guys from Louisiana, AOM, all the Denver guys. Sluts crew. That's a crew. Don't worry.
Name's I'm from Denver, ride Sluts Crew, RTD. It's nice to see a bunch of graffiti riders. Graffiti scene's kind of dead in Denver. Of course, everybody's doing it nationwide.
It's just one, RTD, Sluts Crew, Denver, Colorado. My third year here at Clogged Caps. Looks like it keeps getting better every year. A lot more people turn out. It's pretty cool.
Came out last year. This is the second time I've been here. It's a lot of fun. This is a really tight place to do it. You're able to paint as much as you can for 2 days, you know, and it's amazing how much wall space they got. It's kind of a graffiti playground, you know, you can get in back and do some fill-ins even though you're not supposed to.
The best part was, of course, the free paint, man. Paint's a bitch, fuck buying paint. If we was to pay for every single can that's up on this wall right now, we'd all be broke. Thanks to Suff, man, he put the show together and hooked us up real nice. A good wall, paint, the whole nine, man.
We got hooked up with one of the VPs from Montana, Barcelona.
There's artists helping artists, and that's how a lot of it came about.
They shipped it down here, they sponsored the show, they give everybody 6 cans each.
They were down for the artists, they were down for the ideas of the expression and everybody getting down in the name of graffiti.
Hooked us up this year, they're looking to hook us up every year.
We're going to continue to work with them in the future, and you know, we're very lucky that we worked out such a good relationship with these companies.
Big ups to them. Hopefully I'll join your crew soon.
Gonzo 247, represent Aerosol Warfare Crew, Houston, Texas, down here in San Antonio. Joined forces with the Primates, Texas Sleeping Giant, and just woke up. We got the East Coast and West Coast. The Gulf Coast about to blow up, man. We're out here representing Belts on Spray Paint, straight out of New York, straight out of Europe. Our goal is to try to broaden graffiti, man. As many tools as we can give them. It's pretty much all about elevating the game. If you only have 10 colors, you can only do so much. You got 159 colors, it gives you a wider palette to push your art to a higher level. The artwork's amazing, man. Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. Spreading the art, man. One love for the art.
Graffiti riders, proceed to bring life to the city. With flows, cans, and cap that spin fast off the skinny. With the aim to gain fame in the game with crewmates. We paint an urban terrains that set flames the green and blue trains. Wear gloves of sustain, cause fingers to foul equals a trial. So get rid of the evidence and speak and deny. Improved surveillance system makes it more difficult for bombing, but we don't care if it is critical. It's pitiful, so I say fuck y'all and show my middle finger. Spying on us in the bushes, you don't think we know a thing, huh? But while you ambush, we got friends that tag up your car, making sure you get a wiggin' from the bus instead of a golden star. That's payback, bitches, your blacklist. See feelings are mutual, will be more suitable if you work behind the desk inside a cubicle. No matter what you say, we do our usual routine with rap while we sit and laugh. Riders, bombers, vandals, bombing up the streets and filling the trace with panels. Guards, security, undercover cops. Don't they know that graffiti can't be stopped? Stop, 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 stop.
Every now and then I sit back and think about how all of these different subcultures relate into this one, you know what I mean? How these 4 elements come together and link up.
You look at the 4 elements of hip-hop, graffiti being the oldest one.
Graffiti art is, you know, an element of its own. You know, it's got its own thing going, its own little subculture.
It was down on the urban landscapes of America back in the days.
It's about an urban art. It's about the urban community within the city limits.
You had MCs that were graffiti writers. DJs were graffiti writers.
The Artifacts, Tame1 and Elvis Sensei were graph artists who were also MCs. They had some projects out back in the day that were just amazing, and they were talking about the wrong side of the tracks, and fat caps and clogged caps and burners, and they had songs that basically not only used the graffiti lingo, but the songs themselves were about actually going out and painting.
Nowadays, hip-hop is everywhere. But when it first started, hip-hop was city kids doing city things. That's where it started. It's all up in the cities, you know. It's all about the congestion. That's where all the main flow of people are. That's where your general public is. That's where your audience is at.
You did it all. Breakdance, get on the mic, paint, DJ. It's kind of rare to find people like that today.
If you just look at a line tag and you listen to somebody's flow and you listen to the rhythm of a scratch and you watch somebody dance on the floor, it all has this certain rhythm.
see what's approaching. Never need to sleep, nope, never need no hope. When you got a heart that's plumb filled with devotion, know what you've been through, know where you go. I'ma rep LA till it falls in the ocean, then I'm gonna go home to keep shit floating. This whole song came from one little notion, I don't give a shit. I live my life in eights and fizz. Take a little swig, take a little hit, get fucked up, girl, move a little bit. I ain't trying to commit, I'm just trying to hit. I ain't trying to die, I'm just trying to live. If you ain't gonna move, knock your head to this. Just 1,000 little junkies just nodding to the beat. They hit a little rut and then they all fall asleep. One wakes up, yo Jagger, please play that funky beat for me. Me and my girl had a falling out, all because of my body mouth and because I drink ungodly amounts, to the point that I'm not now standing up, falling down. Fuck it, I give up. I'll just crawl around with a bottle full of hope and a fist full of sound, a half-empty cup and a mind full of clouds. Put it down for the west, put it down for the south. You got beef for me, we can take it to the streets, but I'd much rather see you let your fucking music speak. Ain't nobody making shit that's moving me. This whole city is head to the world. Now I'm at your show getting head from your girl. They call me Mike Gagger, but you can call me Josh Pearl. There's 1,000 little junkies just nodding to the beat. They hit a little rut and then they all fall asleep. One wakes up, yo Jagger, please play that funky beat for me.
Graffiti art today really is a documentation of who we are as a people and a culture. It's just evolved into what it is today, and it's what our art is right now.
When I drop a production, I want it to be about something that's going on. Whatever the case may be, we're going to do what it takes to represent our time, to evolve.
These are our times right now. Our expression, who we want to be known as, really represents hip-hop. And a lot of times, our word doesn't get heard in the community.
Hip-hop basically came to as a rebellious form of expression. Graffiti is the same thing. I mean, a lot of people look at it as defacing, whereas the people that are really into the art form itself look at it as something beautiful.
And a lot of people, honestly would laugh, oh, graffiti's not art, what are you talking about? I think not enough people outside of the hip-hop world appreciate it and accept it as an art.
All in all, no matter what, it's art, and art is universal language, and that is a positive thing in itself. It will make people more creative as they see it more and more.
All day long, I'm either looking at some type of visual art or listening to music. It's just a big part of my life. And graffiti is the visual art form of hip-hop.
What I do, graffiti art, it's what I've been doing, it's what I love to do. Of course, I got jobs and stuff, but my real life is all about graph. You look at the old flip books and stuff and piece books, some people are going to look at it and be like, that's whack compared to now. It's not necessarily so. You don't look at vintage stuff and you're trying to downplay it because you got this like remote control stuff now, you know what I'm saying? It's going to have to evolve in some way or other.
Now there's no limit to what people can say is graffiti and what isn't graffiti. I mean, they do stuff on computers, it's on the walls, corporations are using it for advertisement.
There's been all this hubbub about hip-hop. hop. A lot of it going in the media, a lot of it going into TV and becoming the real mainstream. It's definitely going places.
Now people are actually making a living off of it. They're getting paid to go out and paint these same type of places. It's just how society really looks at anything, whether it's legal or illegal, if they like it or not. Certain people in charge.
Graffiti being probably one of the most dangerous elements you could be in. When you talk about painting trains and doing this illegal stuff, it's mainly going to be a male thing.
Graffiti's definitely male dominated. I think because of the high risk involved.
A lot of the danger involved and a lot of the unorthodox principles that stand behind graffiti as far as racking your own paint and racking your own supplies and getting everything that you need to do the art. I just think a lot of girls just aren't exposed to that. Whereas guys as youths are a lot more mischievous.
Being a man or a boy, I mean, you go for the risk. You're not afraid to climb anything or swoop on anything, run from anybody.
Like they say, girls mature faster than guys, but I don't know.
I think a lot of it just has to do with testosterone versus estrogen.
A lot of females aren't interested in going to jail and getting arrested and going out and stealing stuff and doing what they have to do to get their art on.
Of course, there's the risk factor when you're out doing illegals and you're out at night, you're hitting up shit and running away from shit. There's that danger, but it's good to see that there's a lot more girls coming into it now. You know, you got your Lady Pink, of course, First Lady of Graf.
It's the beginning. Pink, you know what I'm saying?
Pink, Graf originator. She's female, out there doing all the stuff for the guys.
Still rocking. She's got more can control than most guys I know.
You got your Mona, Diva, and Donna, and Miss 17, and Suffer's mom. And there's a lot of women up in it.
It's rare to even find B-girls. There's plenty of them out there.
Just like anything else, basketball, football. I mean, they're getting into it now, which is good. I really, really would like to see some more girl graph writers up there.
I wish there was more women doing graffiti art. I've seen some really good graffiti artists that are winning. From what I've seen, got just as much skill as guys do.
And more women are getting into it. And it's a beautiful thing, and I hope it keeps going. And we gotta represent.
It takes time, you know. They'll be out there soon enough, just like we got WNBA. We get some women graffiti out there.
I hope that women start getting up and start representing. Don't be scared, get yourself out there. We need more women out there, so get up.
Message to the ladies, grab your cans, shake them up, because I'm down to check out some girly artwork. I want to see that female touch to it.
Adults caught spray painting buildings south of downtown, but they didn't get in trouble.
There's always that vandalism part which fucks it up, and of course that's going to be a negative aspect to it. There's always two sides to every story, and that's just how it's going to be.
Graffiti, gang-related. People are dying every day because of it.
When you hear the word graffiti, you may think gangs, desecrated property, or vandals.
It may be that time of the year where they're going to be nice to everybody and try to focus on the nice things going on in the neighborhood.
But that's not always the case.
They know it's better to portray the negative things and you get more attention. It's like shock values.
It's not gangs. It's a collaborative group of artists that have something in common, and that's not a gang.
Taggers, gang identifiers, gangs are only responsible.
There's no merit to that at all.
There's still graffiti everywhere.
You know what upsets me the most is when they show my friends' names on a wall on a news piece and they use it to represent gangs. There's a gang shooting here and then you see the graffiti on the wall next to where the shooting happened, and it's one of my friends that I know isn't a gangster.
Fuck all the media bullshit they fool with, the fair with lies that they tell to the masses. To hell with the gases, they figured underground access. We practice on a tactic.
Gangs are only responsible for less than 10% of the vandalism. So-called artists do the rest.
And that brings us to our Instapoll question tonight. What do you think? Does this program promote art or vandalism?
Tagging in San Antonio can be considered a felony if the damage does beyond $500 and could mean jail time, community service, or costly fines.
Could say they're tagging future taggers.
And Steve Linscomb is painting a, wet forecast.
Seemed like a pretty hot day to be out there tagging. Not that they were doing that or anything else.
Yeah, they should have more of that. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
When it comes to the media, man, what can you say, man? It depends on who's behind the camera, man.
Hip-hop is really catching the attention of commercial media as a viable moneymaker nowadays.
The culture's catching on, it's kind of getting exploited, so now it's making some money.
I just pray that the core of hip-hop never gets caught up in that.
You look at rappers and MCs, they actually have a product that they could sell and make money off of that. When you look at breakdancing, it's not something that someone could take home, but graffiti, it's not making the big businesses money unless they use it in some type of marketing scheme.
It gets shown in a bunch of different ways. They use it to sell product, but at the same time they use it to feed you some sort of fear.
Corporate America doesn't want to accept it, and they're scared of anything that's urbanized by today's younger generation.
It's obviously getting raped and abused by commercial media right now. I mean, all the companies that are using hip-hop to try to sell their products, and they're really not giving anything back to the artists.
They love it. They eat it up. People are doing talk shows about it. You got commercials. It's a story, people want to hear about what's new and, what's going on.
The American media in general have a way of portraying everything one-sided, whether it's the history that we were taught growing up or whether it's the stuff that they choose to show on the news.
I don't think the media portrays anything in a good way. I think they know it's better to portray the negative things and you get more attention. It's like shock value. It's just like all the reality TV shows. When something bad happens, those are the good episodes.
It's something that it's rampant, it's hard to tame, and so one of the easiest ways to tame it is to point it out to the entire world that it's bad.
It's just ridiculous the way society judges the youth. They don't know where it comes from, they don't understand it, so they fear it.
I think a lot of it just has to do with the fact that it's unorthodox. It's very complex. Most people, they're just not interested in anything that's not being fed to them and is easy to understand.
It's really sad what society does to some kids that are generally good kids, but are misunderstood, and now they're lost in a system with a lot of aggression and anger and really don't know how to deal with it.
Some people don't have money to be part of a club, or money to be down with the Boy Scouts, and all those things that people with money can do with their kids. I ain't gonna get none of that.
All right, Sold, short for episode, Kid of Yes Crew, crushing weak shit, corrupt with the souls. From Houston, Texas. This is the third time we've painted Clogged Caps. We just try to represent, man, each time we come out here. We painted a tattoo shop, we paint the beam, we painted a couple walls out here. It was a fat show, it was a good turnout. Mad props to Lost Crew, Primates, putting this shit together, man. It felt good coming here. It was the first time in San Antonio. San Antonio's pretty nice. It's got a real good team. I'm amazed on how everybody gets together.
This is the only one I really regularly come to though, because it's so close and we got crew here. So it's nice to come out and see other peeps, see our friends that we haven't seen in a while.
It's a small world, yeah, it's kind of inspiring, who you want to meet or what you want to do. Everyone's basically good people because we all have stuff in common, so it's just a good time for everyone involved. New York, Cope. We got to see him, you know what I mean? I was little and I would see his stuff everywhere. The master of writing your name anywhere you want to fucking do it was Cope. You can't get any bigger than that.
One of the founding fathers of graffiti as an art form. Who needs no introduction, but for the sake of the people who might not know who he is.
Cope 2.
Cope 2. Cope.
Cope 2.
Cope.
Cope.
Cope 2.
Watercoloring words and divisions. Respect original graph writer. Watercoloring words and divisions. Respect original graph writer. Watercoloring words
Got into it during like the late 70s, early 80s, up in the Bronx, man, New York, just painting the subways. And it's amazing how it just like spread it. It's in Europe, it's all over the States. It's amazing, I love it, it's crazy. I would never thought back in the 80s that it would get this far. That's what really amazes me. Graffiti has its good sides and it has its bad sides. You know, I do both. I do murals and I bomb. Bombing is when the kids go out and just destroy. You put your name everywhere. And then you got art side of it, which is more accepted by society. But, you know, it comes in the same art form. Graffiti is graffiti. We're trying to do our thing.
Doing my thing, man. Over 20 years, man. It's a blessing to be here in San Antonio, Texas, thanks to Gonzo. The whole graffiti culture shows how people still repping and really into it. Cult 2 True Legend, 270 pages, full color, hardcover book. It's got like a little of every year for the past 20 years. So this is official, man. It's flooding Europe and it's going fast like drugs, man. I wish I could stay here a little longer, man. It's a lot of love and respect over here. The whole Texas movement is official. I come here anytime I'm invited, man. Get my freight on out here. That shit would be cool.
Wait a minute now, you've been determined to fulfill the burning yearning of the people. Keep the distance, glide, move with persistence, let it be your guide. The strategy cannot be reactionary. Dreams you followed are not reality. Seems everything is stable, but it's not, so you've been determined for the past millennium. Everything you could imagine has happened, but not forgotten. Stagnant stuff, buckling water for the way with the natural order. This order is less than a quarter lifespan. Decadent vision, I'm thinking it's wrong, cause the world I knew wasn't so colorful. At least it didn't bleed all the way through. Mindful of the ones I knew.
When you're bombing, you're constantly, your cars are behind you and shit. It's just like a different vibe. It's still dope and shit. Out here, everything's fucking quiet. Every little noise. You definitely have to watch your back. You get too into your piece. You know, you get crept on by like fucking bulls or whatever. To me, it's a little bit more dangerous out here. I guess I like the risk more about it. I'm pretty irresponsible. That's why I'm out here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Freight Night. I started painting trains like in 95, no, 96. I painted by myself down the ways from my mama's crib. So I hooked up with Cabs, my boy Halo, 4. We started doing trains all together for a few years. Can't forget Cross or Era. Then I was famous superstar MCs. Alright, Suffer, SCCA, yeah, but if they legalize this shit, I don't know. Shit would suck. When it's all said and done, people can be like, man, that fool put it down, motivated me to fucking do something that hasn't been done in the city, just to represent for the city. And then once you want more than that, just take it to the next level. Going out and painting, mainly trains.
We would go out and paint trains and just different walls and stuff around our area where we live.
I got into it first off with a boy of mine who used to skate with, and that kid always carried a marker with him. So everywhere we'd stop, find a spot, he'd mark up anything that was around there. He used to rock Doobie AC. Being about 13, it's kind of an influence on me.
My uncle was in a graffiti crew called DVC, Double Vision Crew, early back in the days. You know, I used to go with them racking. They used to make me stand guard, use my school bags to go racking, spray cans, markers, come home, do pieces in their books.
Just kind of came into it, wanted to get my name up, get my rocks off and whatnot. That's how a lot of people tend to get into things. They take a small interest and then it develops.
So I started rocking my markers, started making my styles, and from there it just got more and more quality, quantity.
We used to sit in class all bored and just write and scribble, and that's how it began. I'd stopped for a while until I ran into an old friend of mine, Alexia, and she used to write drama. She was the first chick white I ever knew.
In my neighborhood, I saw a lot of it, but a lot of it was scratch tag, it was pretty black. Until I actually came across some graph mags, checking out old movies like Beach Street. I was like, man, what is this, man? Why don't we have any of that in our part of town?
My first introduction to graffiti was actually through combination of movies and album artwork. Specifically Wild Style, Breakin' 1 and Breakin' 2. Electric Boogaloo was sorry of a production as Part 2 was. And then I really got into it through the Source magazine. They used to have a graph section. Got to see writers from different parts of the world and how they got down and how the techniques varied.
Streets of Chicago, the Southwest Side, it's all over the place. We see it everywhere. Don't really pay much attention to it because it's just part of the neighborhood. You don't question the marks on the walls in your house, you know what I'm saying?
I grew up in a small town in Indiana, and there was a couple of train bridges through town. The tagging I saw was people writing on the bridges like, you know, Brenda loves Tom. That's tagging. And seeing the pictures and looking at different magazines and books and seeing videos, it just blew my mind. I'm like, wow, this is done with the same stuff that they did Brenda loves Tom with.
I started seeing it up in the bathrooms, moving from high school to high school. This guy Raymond that I went to school with back in the day, he showed me pictures and things that he had taken of trains to bring these graph mags over, and I started getting into that. I had always been into art, you know, just art in general.
Thinking back when I was a kid, the first time I learned how to write my name, I was putting it everywhere. You know, if it was with a crayon, I was getting in trouble, whatever.
Trying it out, you know what I mean? I think just like anybody does, you know, when you just started into something new.
I was first introduced to graffiti by Orr. Grew up with Orr. We would go out and paint trains, and this is probably about 92.
I went back to the west side where I had born and raised. I met Suffer. He was in the same hood as me. We came together through Area 210, Cabarelli the Felon. You know, I went to high school with him, so we all just started kicking it together. And we all were at different levels and different stages of talent, and I'm not afraid to say what's at the bottom when it comes to graffiti.
Getting the creative juices flowing is good, so as long as it's channeled in the right direction, it's art.
It was a cool way to congregate with people that have the same interests as you. We all listen to the same sort of music. We'd go out, we'd go bombing, and we'd come back to a party and we'd just freestyle our asses off. And you know, that's where I started like finding my niche and where I belong. Graffiti brought us all together, and from there we all kind of went our own separate ways. Some people focused more on one thing, some people became a jack of all trades. To this day, it's cool to be able to point people out that are just coming in and be able to say, hey, you know what, I was with him in the beginning. And they're still around in the family, you know what I mean? In San Antonio, it's become a family.
Simple and basic, take time to taste it. Store the leftovers cause I don't like to waste it. Face it, chef makes the food, friends make the meal. So I share with my crew, compare the skills. Congregate at the table while the plate spins round. And that's all that it takes to create these great sounds. Cause it's ready, come and get it, you want it? It's ready, come and get it. It's ready, come and get it, you want it? It's ready, come and get it. It's ready, come and get it, you want it? It's ready, come and get it. It's ready, come and get it, you want it? It's ready, come and get it.
I started like most any other toy, just tagging here and there, then keep doing it, and then from there just stood with it. And I've been painting for what, 8 years.
I basically, you know, picked it up looking at it like everybody else and just took it from there. I mean, it's pretty much your own interpretation. You do what you want with it. You shouldn't be worried about what everyone else wants. You like your shit, that's the way you should do.
Come up with your own style and, you know, better like that because some people got better styles, but then you learn off of them too.
I started as a tagger, you know, tagging stuff around, and then little by little I started picking up a sketchbook and just learning how to do things. Ways to look at displaying art. You know, I'm doing it like every weekend or so. It's pretty straight.
So as long as you're happy with your own,
yeah,
you know, then you're doing good. But if you get to the point where you think you're good enough, then you shouldn't be painting.
I write graffiti because I don't have shit better to do. I don't really want a job, don't really want money, so fuck around, do graffiti.
Art for sale. Say I'm cynical, and these are analytical joints, like Her Majesty Latifah, but that was cannabis sativa. I look at TV and I say out loud, I hear no music, I see products now. Art for sale. My record company
Graffiti is always going to be on the streets. That's where you're able to go out and show your stuff to the public.
Anything within eye shot from the public.
You look at not just the artwork itself, but you look at where it's at. Some of the spots that are painted, the time and effort that was put into putting that art there.
Off the train lines, the highways, major street spots that have been forgotten.
Just like Coca-Cola would throw their name everywhere and anywhere they could, I'll go and do the same with my marker or my spray paint. Pieces are my business and my tags are my advertisement for my art. And when I really want to show what I got, I'll show it. Let you know that I'm still here.
It's not about hurting your feelings. It's not a personal issue. It's about them. And when I say them, I mean the public. People gotta know. Guess what? You're in a big city now.
People aren't trained to read the signatures that people are putting up on the wall, and it's really not for them. It's for the other graph heads looking out for the next guy and whatnot. It's pretty much chicken scratch to anyone else who doesn't understand it.
They can focus in on it, they can ridicule it, they can do whatever they want. Hopefully they can see it for what it is, man. Talent in places where you never thought it would be. The fact that they notice it, my job's done.
These people live and die this stuff, literally. They've had a lot of run-ins, and it just blows my mind to the extent at which the law wastes the taxpayers' money for programs based on eradicating graffiti. They have to harass artists in order to keep a job.
A lot of it is just an excuse to pull people out the way. Like they say, you fear what you don't understand.
And it doesn't make a lot of sense that they're going through all the time and expense through the justice system for kids that are basically out doing art because nobody will give these kids a place to put it.
I don't know how long it's going to take for these people to understand that it's not violently intentional. It's expression, it's art, it's new creative outlet. This is foundation of a new culture.
It's a form of free art. It's out in the streets, it's raw. For someone to go out and do it and find it a beautiful thing. It reflects on you to see what you're made of, what you can do and what you can accomplish.
Creation of anything is within an art form. That's where it starts. Like, some people gain their ability to draw from starting off with ill scriptures. I can't dog on tags because some ill tags can burn pieces.
Graffiti's got more style. It's got a style to it. Tagging just a lot of scribble, scrabble. It looks like crap. There is a difference.
There is a difference between tagging and doing pieces. Certain cats just want to get their name up, while other cats sit there and do a masterpiece.
Graffiti is going to be graffiti. If you go out there and you vandalize something, you're tagging on something. And that's just textbook stuff, you know what I'm saying? But to some people, there's that unwritten law. They don't go painting on anybody's religious building or anything like that. They don't go painting on anybody's house, not even their fence.
People destroy shit, and of course, a lot of people, it comes out of their business, their money and everything. So, of course, it's gonna get a bad rep automatically.
Truth of the matter is, destruction of public property, private property, it's illegal.
It's illegal. You're going out and you're putting your art on somebody else's property, whether it's state-owned or community-owned or whoever's it is. And, some people don't want it there and they're going to object to it.
I feel bad when it's on like mom and pop shops and shit. Like, at least have some respect. I don't care if you bomb up some corporation.
And nobody's really getting hurt, so all it takes is a layer of paint to cover it up. I don't really want them to cover it up, but I think the message is more important than criminalizing it. So.
The stuff that people would frown upon, the same people would walk through the yard and look at it and praise you and pat you on the back.
Big permissioned walls, whether it be for a store owner or for a neighborhood organization that wanted them to do something to reflect their neighborhood and their heritage.
Come paint my business, come do the sign over here at my flower shop.
And the cops come over and try to shut them down. It's the media, it's the system in general. They hassle it. The more they hassle it, the more everyone looks at it as bad, and then if they see anyone doing it, then they'll turn them in.
I've been arrested for doing graffiti in the past. We were at a park and we're doing a piece, and the park rangers rolled up on us and took us down. They weren't that cool.
They take a risk when they're out there expressing themselves, throwing up bombs. It's done for a reason. It's not just kids being radical. It's an outcry to be heard. You can't just judge us, deem us outcasts. We're here. We want to be heard, whether you listen to us or not.
It all has its place. Pretty much boils down to having your name out there.
Every graffiti artist sees a spot and knows that place is going to look so much better with my name on it.
I'm from Chicago, and they have events like this, but I mean, we get a lot of problems from the police, but it's always some type of a hassle. They're always about permits, about something. So here, it's amazing to see all these people together from all types of states just painting.
Neon was here, King 157. Those guys are legends. Sinner from LA, the LTSs, they're big crews. It's weird just to meet people like that, because sometimes you think you're the only people that are into this as much as you are, but then you meet other people and they're just like you. And they're old folks just like us. We're not all little kids running around on curves, you know what I mean?
It's nice to start out definitely with the blank wall and create something, you know, some good art. It's nice that somebody appreciates it.
I'm so pleased on how our production came out and how everybody else's too. It's pretty tight, true. Best part of it is just coming down here and paint, chilling with the crew, sit around, talk shit, have fun. It's all good. It's graffiti, man. It's just whatever you want to make it. If there's something good, there's something good. It really inspires me.
1, 2, 3.
Yo, check this out. I'm gonna do the same thing, right? Check this out. Hey, B, see what I mean? These MCs is not effective, especially on the FM. All you fake G's, I ate you like pastries. You need to get your own and stop trying to be Jay-Z's. You living okay, pumping your L's in your limo, but I ain't trying to live like that. You know my MO, rhyme stay fresh, cause I rap like Windows. Rap no question, the answer was N-O. People come to my shows in big numbers, tossing their hands in the air like lettuce and cucumbers. They know who we are, especially Lamar, biggest fan before Saddam Silla and low fat, which binary star before Rob was on the D-Lo. But time goes on and there's some love called a T-O. And if you like what we create, then pay attention to the flow, don't deviate. See, we ain't trying to go pop like a bubble do. That's another crew. For every rhyme you got, I could double you. WF, tag team steady shining. The binary star, empire expanding. I don't know why they underestimate the B crew. Sleep if you want, my crew will help you catch a Z's, true? Y'all feel it up? Yo, check this out.
How y'all feel out there? Yeah. Alright. Check this out. Are you ready?
A lot of the stuff that's incorporated where you have artists and crews coming together to work on productions. Like here in San Antonio, there are some nonprofit organizations in different neighborhoods around the town that have had artists come out and actually do exhibitions to teach the kids different skills.
I have 2 kids myself, and I'm showing them right now that graffiti is a positive thing. It occupies your time doing something good.
It's just something new and different, and it's something to keep kids interested. It's something that the children can grow with if they really run with it.
Of course, you got a lot of, the vandalism part, which portrays it in a negative way. But then something like Clogged Caps comes along and brings a positivity to it, and they see it more as an art form. And, they're bringing all these writers from around the world, around the U.S. together, and that's awesome. They see it more as an art form, finally, and they actually give it respect.
You see professionalism in some of the work. You see some real talent in that, some originality. What can you say? Except, props, you know what I'm saying?
A lot of cats are getting a little bit more feeling for it, a little more devotion. They're putting a little bit more creativity in it, and I really like to see more of that other than just, fillings and tags.
You don't have to go out there and be a knucklehead. Or if you want to be a knucklehead, be a knucklehead and do something good with it, man. If you got talent, then use it. Bring it to the wall, let's go. Do something with it. It may not be the most accepted art form in the scene, but I'm happy with it.
I just want to see graffiti keep growing here in San Antonio. The scene wasn't too big when it first started, but now I'm noticing a lot of new names and a lot of new styles. It's good to see it develop from what it used to be.
I want there to be more of a positive note from the public's point of view so that they can see we're here to do what we love to do. It's art. We just happen to do it with spray cans.
The imagination side, the fact that you can see what's really stuck inside somebody's head done through a spray can, I think that that's incredibly positive. I think any form of expression is positive because otherwise, that energy could be expelled somewhere else in a negative fashion.
I think graffiti saved my life, man. How would my life have been without it? It's an alternative to so many things. Forget all the drugs in the world, the rush you get from going out there and doing a spot and doing it good. That's dynamite right there, man.
It's just going to keep moving. People are going to continue to try to push it out of certain areas. And the more they try to push it out and rearrange it, it's going to continue to go everywhere.
Started from a stencil, and now it's upgrading by the day, by the hour. Now it's a universal worldwide thing.
I think you're going to continue to see it go down the commercial path for a while until at a point they deem it not hip anymore. It's not the fad of the moment, so they're going to go on to something else.
Just like anything else, what goes around comes around. I mean, you had the wave come through, kind of faded back, sat back for a second, now it's right back up there again. Pretty soon, the real cats will still be here. It'll fade away for a minute, and the next thing you know, it hit back again.
And it's gonna get wild. I don't know how much wilder it can get, man. We got all kinds of flavors just busting out. I just can't wait. I want to see.
There could be like internet trains going across in the bottom of the screen, and you just submit your piece, lay it down, JPEG it, throw it on.
There's always evidence of the new thing coming up, man. There's just no end to it. Can't put a stop to creation, man. These guys are gonna take the old, learn it to the extreme, and then when they're done with that, they're gonna bring in their own flavor, and then the new guys are gonna come in and learn those guys as if they were the old school guys.
And once that happens, I think you're really gonna see a renaissance in the movement again, and I think people are gonna continue to go put it places where it's never been before.
Pretty soon, it's gonna be intergalactic, space age.
There'll be graph on space shuttles flying to Mars. It's not gonna stop. It's gonna keep going. Wherever there's man, there's gonna be somebody writing on the walls.
Innovation, man. It's gonna come up. There's always another step you gotta climb.
The possibilities are infinite. They're endless.
Arrest
Big shout to Law's crew, to RTD, to all the San Antonio Masters for making Clogged Caps what it is.
Shout out to my crew, Law's crew, Wall Rock crew. Shout out to Justin and Jive for that.
I want to give a peace out to my crew, everybody else in Law's crew.
The Law's crew, keeping it here in San Antonio, keeping it real, keeping it fresh, bringing that culture to the forefront.
Big shout to the Primates, everybody in the local scenes involved, all the crews, all the DJs that came out, performed at the event, present, past, and future.
I want to say what up to Primates, RTD. Big up to all my boys in Chicago. Big up to CMW for coming out.
Shout out and thanks for everybody for getting up off the ass and getting out and getting something. Yeah.
Big shout out, man. I got to give to all the writers that came out here. Because without the graffiti artists to come down here, there ain't no trouble.
Big shout to Cope 2, who came down and really represented for New York and where graffiti came from.
Cope 2, Bronx Graffiti King, Gods of Destructions, most popular creation, and the Nasty Boys coming at you live, baby. You know what's up.
Word. Right. And this is Gonzo 247 signing out. Much love to the Primates for putting the other half of this thing together. If it wasn't for them, this wouldn't be possible.
Big shouts to Enemy and Gonzo. Big shout to Aerosol Warfare in Houston.
Oh yeah, peace to Deadbeat. Rest in peace, Amok and D-Tech.
Much respect to all area crews, everybody who's doing things, everybody being what is essentially a community.
Anybody that comes out and supports this in San Antonio, anybody that's doing anything, they got my shout out.
Here in San Antonio, this is the movement. We're all part of this big melting pot. Anyone who's doing their thing to push this movement forward, all about that.
All the writers, everybody, the whole hip-hop culture out here. Keep it alive, much respect, and much love, man.
This is for San Antonio, this is for hip-hop, this is our culture. Protect it, preserve it.
This is the reason.
Be aware.
Get involved in your local scene, get into it.
Keep the movement alive. Keep in mind.
Scuba Gooding Sr. and I'm out. Peace.
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 It was a way of communication, and it still is, but it's more of an expression, really.
Oh shit, my bad.
The name's Era. My name is Era. I'm Era. My name's Era. MC, lyricist.
Do a little dance or something. Nah.
My mama told me already. Makeup.
It's all just like, it's like our but that's what we like, and it's it's like
there's you did they it's
I'm not the graffiti expert anyway, so I'm just fucking talking.
I don't do that stuff, Mom and Dad, I swear. I don't even know what that is.
That's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Did I answer the question?
Like, it was, man, and cause this is we've straight up, just and I don't know, it's gonna be wild.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G,
H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P,
Q, R, S, T, U, V. Hey man, I can only go through the ABCs once.
Are you gonna be able to use this?
Hey, smell that piece?
Train cars. Hold up, Boldy.
That's stupid. Can you cut that?
I guess we were... I'm white, by the way. I just have strong feelings about white media in general.
If there are any, B-girls out there, female graffiti writers, call me. They'll put the number at the bottom right here.
Represent, damn it. Fuck that shit.
Is there anything else that you maybe want to add to?
Not really. I think that's about it, man.
Vandalism.
It's really an extreme on the radical side, and it's awesome. Oh man, it was like crazy. Like we had
Feel it.
we had our. It was cool. I don't know.
Don't get caught. Don't get caught doing graffiti, but do it if you can.
It's official, baby. Right here. Word up.
Let's rap.
That's a wrap.
I'm sorry, man. I'm all babbling. I don't know what to say, man. I want to be on the TV.